All right, and we are live. Well, welcome everybody. Even though nobody's watching it, we haven't necessarily pinged out, but we are here with breaking news on X47. X47 is the staging system of pretty much the entire Panem Accord force that is helping fraternity throughout this war, and we are now watching the goons come in with a surprise attack on multiple things in system.
We're currently watching a Sino jammer that had a sort of some allied forces basically trying to take it down before it was actually going to be anchoring and deploying. Deploying, I believe. So the timer on it is 17 minutes until 17, just shy of 18 minutes to deploy, and it is repairing at the moment
Yeah, so we've got two
after being
things of
taken down
interest
to.
today. We've noticed that the system was able to be jumped in on, and so the Imperium have taken their chance and first of all sent in three separate fleets onto the iHub. We have a Shack fleet, we've got a Apocalypse Navy fleet from in it, followed up by a Tempest fleet issues with Volta. So we've got some big numbers here. Right now, the timer is sat at 24 minutes. So if we can sit on this for 24 more minutes, this will go into reinforcement and then later on will follow through. At the same time, we now have other fleets converging on the Sino Jammer, attempting to stop that from going live so that we can continue, at least for now, to bring reinforcements in and out. So we
Now,
have a huge
is
escalating thing right now.
here's a question there. McLeod, is that the only Sino jammer in system?
I mean, it seems to be the only Sino jammer on grid here. I don't know whether it's the
Gotcha.
only Sino jammer in system, but it seems like it's the only one on grid, at least around the Keep Star.
Gotcha. So it's under my understanding, and I got to turn my mic gate down here. Sorry, people. I was playing Siege, but the thing is that from my understanding, you can have up to three jammers in system, but only one active at a time. So if we kill this Sino jammer, there is a good chance that they could just turn around and activate another one that's at a random point in space. But I don't think there is any more in this system so far. And if we reinforce the iHub, there is two more jammers. They are on grid, it looks like.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I
They're
just
deploying
saw the
it.
other one.
Okay, they're deploying it. That's why
So there
they're
was one which was deployed. There is also another one that is also deploying as well. That's 40 minutes to go.
so it looks like that fraternity is attempting to stop the efforts of the original Jammer by placing the other two down in hopes that that will stop this assault. But wow, I was not expecting this to happen today on a Sunday. I woke up this morning. We had a nice little brawl for an Astra house like early in the morning. I got my some water, ended up going to play other games cuz I was like, "All right, that's it for today." And then bam, this just happened. So it just came out of freaking nowhere.
Well, it's been
Mm.
on been bated breath. We have had four timers ready for today. This could have kicked off a lot sooner. We had the keep and the three fortizars all reinforced, all coming out around about the 1200 Eve time to 1400 Eve time. So there was the possibility that we could have hit the keep or the forts. They were reasonable good times for us, but shortly before that, we had a skirmish where there were several fights, several hefty lofts, sorry, on the fart side, and now here we are today, right now, sieging the iHub and preventing any further jammers from going up.
Right? It seems interesting. How this fight develops is going to entirely depend on uh how the hostiles react to this fight. Because right now the only fight we're really seeing is the hostiles doing everything to save these jammers. They haven't even touched the iHub grid yet, which when we eventually switch over to that camera, hopefully that will be interesting to see. But all of the hostiles right now are just here on the Keep Star, defending the jammers, keeping them online.
That's right. We have a mad scramble right now. We can see we have begun to anchor a Fortizar off the Keep Star in this system for a traditional siege. So if we can keep the Cynojammers down now, potentially we can go ahead and start filtering in all the capitals, all the different things that we love to see on the existing Fortisound grid, and then later on move them over to that siege fort. So there's everything to play for right now.
I'm very curious because I am getting nothing but flashbacks to MOEE8. If you guys were you guys there for that?
Not myself.
The first fully fitted Keepstar to ever die. Like I'm really getting MOEE8 vibes right now.
I can't say that I was in that fight.
Oh, it was beautiful. We had I think it was like 7 or 8 Fortizars that they just put in a complete circle around the MO Keepstar, and that was the only way they could siege it. Was literally all directions Fortizars.
That's nuts.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. I mean, they even had a scope video on it about how it was like, oh yeah, there's like 7 Fortizars just 1,000 kilometers off in a bubble around the Keepstar.
We've certainly seen some incredible things. When the first of anything gets destroyed, it always makes the news. But obviously, of course, this is not the first Keepstar of the war that's gone down. We've already eliminated 3 Keepstars from the system, fulfilling that war objective to take down the structures where the FARC coalition have intruded into the B2 coalition. There was a hefty skirmish already earlier today where an Athanor was killed. They attempted to drop a Ninarazu on there to save it. Meanwhile, we was in the Shack fleet getting ready to take an armor timer. Soon as we heard that there was content, that there was a fax there, we being in a Shack fleet, quickly raced over and vaporized that very blingy Ninarazu, which has gone down, been fully looted, and even came with the odd Abyssal on there. So we've had some hefty fights already, and now last minute we're scrambling for these 2 objectives, to reinforce the iHub and to take down these Cynojammers to give us more accessibility into X47.
Well, this Cyno that XIX and Dracaris
can
were
we-
on previously is at 7.5 minutes until it's repaired.
Can we
But then it still has 10 minutes. It still will have after that about 3 minutes to deploy.
can we
Well,
get
we
a
have
zoom in
got
on that
bombing
Sinojammer?
We've
We
just had a
definitely can.
bombing wing come in on the iHub. We've got about 20 bombers have just launched an attack on the fleets. The FC has ordered free fire, but as all good bombers, they've managed to get off grid. No losses for them there. And now
So
we'll see what consequence
it
this
seems
bombing wing has got.
it seems we're looking at the Paladin fleet with the fax support is sitting on and defending these jammers, which is these Paladins, man, they're so hit or miss to me that I don't know how to feel about them, right? We have seen them win, we have seen them fail. It is a very odd doctrine, and I don't know. It's every time I see them, I'm like, are they going to eat shit or are they going to dominate the battlefield? It really just depends on how they play it.
They've got the range, they've got the reach, they've also got the Bastion module. If our fleet just decide to turn,
Well,
there's a lot of utility.
the Bastions, the way that Horde runs these golden fleets, Bastion is strongly discouraged from their members. Because the thing is, while Bastion does turn the Marauder into a one-man beef machine, right? When you're looking at it from a perspective of like 200 people all in Paladins and like no Logi or just triage Logi pretty much, right? It really becomes a sink to Bastion up, right? Because when these Paladins Bastion up, they don't have the ability to tether anymore. They cannot receive their fax reps. And, you know, as we all know with armor paladins, if you're self-repping yourself, you're pretty much not doing it right, because unlike a shield booster, armor reps are delayed when you are self-healing yourself. So it gets really, really weird because when you do Bastion, you're alone. It is just you. You are the only person that can save you, right? There's someone if flying that kind of thing in a fleet setting, it's not a wise decision to Bastion your ship.
Well, from the kill mails we've had previously, these are not fitted with self-wrappers. The Bastion module is purely there to, once the engaging forces are turning and retreating, and they know that they're not going to come under pressure, that's when they hit the Bastion. That's when they get that extra power and pound them on the way. These are still relatively cheap. They're not fitted with the self-repping that we've come to know from the PvE, the ratting paladins. Probably looking around about 1.5 bill. They have been known many a times to implant these, so it could be anyone's game right now. At the moment, we're just looking at battle formations. The iHub is still being attacked. We have a flycatcher fleet, which is between us and the Fortizar, preventing anything from coming over, screening any enemy fleet off. And the time now, we have 20 minutes remaining on the reinforcement of the iHub in X47L.
Do we want to get a zoom up on the Keepstar to see what fleets has Pandemic Horde other than the Paladins? What other fleets have Fraternity and Horde decided to
So,
use here?
so we have the Paladin fleet that's sitting here. There's also a another Paladin. It seems like another Paladin. Is it another Paladin fleet? I'm not sure.
It looks
We
like
have
Tempest fleet issues. It looks like that they
we
have
have
caps.
we have we have Dreads basically jumping out, maybe midpointing.
Well, this might seem to be. I don't think this is any kind of evacuation effort, and I want to put that right
No,
out the window. Absolutely not. Because when people
it
see
could be a
dreads jumping out of a Keepstar, that's all they're really think. What I think this is I think this is dreads jumping out to then jump back in, but instead
yeah.
of jumping,
Yeah, definitely.
It's basically to be to facilitate a much more aggressive way of jumping onto any grid in the system. In this particular system, you have to, instead of warping to a particular grid, like you have your dreads jump out to a midpoint, and then they can jump back in on a Sino in system, which is a much more efficient way of being able
You think of the
to
bubbles that are
put a
on
cap
grid
in.
right now, and the amount of time it takes for the dreads to enter warp and land after warp. It's going to take them a considerable amount of time to get on grid. So having them warp out, wait down their timers, and then jump back in. We already have confirmation of an enemy Sino on the iHub grid, so they could light at any time, and then in comes all the dreads. We are in battleships. Those dreads will start to track. If we do have black dreads coming in, which are specially designed to catch those battleships, there will be hefty losses. Now, whether or not the Imperium decides to counter drop, that remains to be seen.
it's going to
Yeah.
be quite interesting because John, you know more about this than I do, but how long does it take for a Sino to switch on a Sino jammer once it is plugged in and it's hooked up to the wall and all that fun stuff? What is it? How long does it take to flip that light switch?
I believe it's like any anchorable structure. If you put an answerplex in the system, you're going to get that countdown and then it goes online. So it's the same from these Sino jammers. So the Imperium fleets are going to be looking to, once that is onlining, like any structure, they are going to be wanting to hit it within that brief period when it's vulnerable and can be taken all the way down. They're going to be wanting to stamp these out the second they pop up. But now that we see the Fart Coalition moving their dreads out of system, I'm quite confident that they've given up on the attempt to stop the Sino jamming being taken out. Now they are preparing for a potential dread escalation.
This is going to be
Which is
quite
bad news for
interesting.
me. Which is bad news for me because I've decided today, like a fool, to use my dread ult to get into a Lashak. And so, yeah. I'm looking. Can I get my Lashak off grid? Can I dock it up so I can go get my dread? But I can already hear Alliance executives, Sapides, and H-Dub saying that you should never fly on your Dread accounts. You should keep them free. You should keep them ready so they can drop at a moment's notice. And yeah, I feel it now.
Now, this is going to be quite interesting because I don't think we have seen just a simple dread escalation in a while. During the Delve War, we saw dreads enter the fight, but they weren't like that slow escalation that the Eve community is used to. During the Delve War, it was just like instant Titans and Supers. So it's going to be interesting to see like dread on battleship, dread on dread. It's gonna be nice to be able to see that slow progression of FC hesitation and escalation.
It's everything to play for now. It really is. The timer left on the hub is 19 minutes. We are now in tie-dye, so this is going to be a lot slower, which I don't quite understand because the repair timer, as we've seen on a Keepstar, is normal time regardless of tie-dye. But this seems to be affected by the time tie.
So here's the thing, is that when it comes to things like iHub timers and stuff like that, where with Citadels like Keepstars and stuff, I believe it is just a literal simple, 1 million to 100 count, right? So it's not going to be affected by tie-dye. Whereas iHubs and fuzzy solve and flex structures and stuff like that, right? That stuff gets affected by tie-dye because there are certain conditions like in tosising that need to be met in order for those timers to be a thing, right? With a Keepstar, there's no active mechanic in play when it's reinforced, right? So it's just a simple, 0 to a million countdown.
We might be seeing a play here.
We might be seeing a play here. It looks like a Imperium flycatcher fleet is now on one of the jammers. They are all activating their bubbles, which I gotta say, it is beautiful sometimes to see how these fleets.
That's a lot of bubbles in one place, but that does not make an efficient bubbling.
So one of the
it's not effective as such in terms of being able to bubble fuck an area.
So one of the most interesting plays that I have seen with the GSF flycatcher fleet is an FC with an overprop purposefully trailing his flycatchers behind him and popping bubbles while they are orbiting him so that they're spread out and behind the majority of people. And it just creates this nice little effect. Okay, so the jammer does have a spool up time of 5 minutes. Okay, that's what the question I was asking John earlier. So I think
that's like the onlining time. So you for those 5 minutes, if you kill it, it's done.
Right, but also during those 5 minutes, you can continually jump caps in. So what my brain thinks the play could be here is that Pandemic Horde and PandaFam, they jump their dreads in onto the iHub, and then the Imperium has 5 minutes to figure out if we're going to escalate. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this goes. Is there a cinematic camera in Eve? So what it is that McLeod here is an absolute G, and he's got one of those space camera things that can be hooked up to Eve that they added support for like 5 years ago, was it?
Yeah, it was a fair while ago.
Yeah. So they added support for these like space 3D camera trackball things, and he's got one of those, and it's like, dude, it's amazing. I need to get one now.
Look, can you imagine trying to host a stream and try and do the camera at the same time? Like,
it would
John,
be
imagine
quite difficult.
John, it's the same thing as being the anchor for a fleet and calling targets at the same time. It's the same brain split. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I can update you on my personal situation. I've managed to subtly burn out of the bubbles on the iHub, warp to the friendly Fortress Iron in the Lashak. I'm currently docking up, and I will be happily death cloning back to DO6 to see if they need dreads.
So we have the Fraternity Zealots / Demos fleet coming in as well.
Coming into the jammer, what's the other? Is that just the flycatchers, or is there other things coming there?
The flycatchers are there as far as we know at the moment. There's what are these guys?
Gilas. This is the
Yeah,
this,
Upstart. Caldarius's Gila's there.
so we've only seen them join the fray over the past couple of days, and to my knowledge, they're another mercenary corps being hired by Fraternity to help with this war. Which is just like, honestly, what the fuck, guys? Like,
Money's money. Money
you're
talks, right?
you're
I mean, if
hiring
you're
more. No. You're hiring more mercenaries because you don't have enough nullsec allies.
I think we've got a
Apparently
huge
that's the
time
case.
zone. I know that from my particular corp in Sigma Grindset, shameless plug, they're mostly American based, and so a lot of the guys, even though it's Sunday, they may be just starting to come online or starting to shake their heads a bit, but it's an awkward time zone.
Dude, I was not prepared for this today. I'm in USTZ. I woke up, we had a nice fight in the morning, and I was about to go play other games and have fun for the rest of the day because I know USTZ doesn't get shit. But then all the pigs started going off, and I was like, whoa. Now, like, this is peak interest. Like, middle of the day, random attack. It's great. Alright, so it looks like the iHub grid is still, like, pretty much clear of hostile fleets. They are not coming to defend the iHub at all. They seem to be focused on these jammers.
Yeah, definitely seems like a denial of cap escalation is what Fraternity are focused on right now.
I mean, this is what we want. This is when people see that there's war. People are eager and excited to drop them. I mean,
So
why put this off?
it looks like the Paladin fleet is arriving on the iHub grid. So I guess we will do a dual camera session here, McLeod, and
That's cool with me.
we'll slowly transition between back and forth. So let's quickly go ahead and let's take a look at what the iHub grid is looking like. So
Yeah, I no longer have it because I've managed to sneak away, which I'm happy about.
So this is this is the iHub grid, and I do apologize I don't have a fancy camera like McLeod does here. But so what we are looking at is we're looking at 3 Imperium battleship fleets, including a sacrilege fleet sitting at 0 on the iHub, bubbles everywhere, intosising the crap out of the iHub. And if we look over here, there is a defensive fortizar, sort of off of the ways. And we are currently seeing a Sino go up, as well as a Test. Oh my god. Test is in a Civ Squad fleet?
Wow, that really says it all.
Huh? Okay, but they are with Fraternity in a Tempest fleet fleet. They are sitting here with the Paladins, just on the Fortizar, tethered up. They seem to be watching the iHub, kind of going at it. So we'll do that as a quick recap, and we'll come back to this iHub if it turns out that the fight starts and kicks off at the iHub. But we'll switch back to McLeod for now, since that's where the PvP is actually going on.
So probably one of the questions would be, why would the Imperium want to concentrate on, say, for example, the iHub rather than on the jammers, right? For some degree, that may seem counterproductive or counterintuitive, but in actual fact, if you can reinforce and eventually kill the iHub in the system, then the military index in the system basically drops down to 0. And when that happens, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong here a little bit. I think I am wrong actually.
It's fine. Let your resident.
The military index doesn't drop, but like the upgraded modules that allow you to put jammers up basically get blown up.
Yeah, well, let the Sigma male talk about this from Sigma Grindset. We do this
There
all
we
the
go.
time.
Yes,
This is second knowledge to us. So, essentially, The issue behind the iHub is it's a timed based unit. So if we
Wait,
successfully destroy the iHub, then
was
for 30 days they cannot anchor jump bridges, they cannot anchor small structures, they cannot anchor jammers, nothing. And it's a huge blow because even if they do take it back the next day, they still have to wait that window to be able to put the upgrade to hold the system for at least 14 days. So it's a huge blow if we can disconnect that tether.
yes, is that the destruction of one of the Cynojammers that we just witnessed? Did
I
it
doubt it.
did it blow up, or was that something else that blew up there?
No, that was something. That was a small craft that was blown up.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, those Cynojammers are so tiny, like it's sometimes hard to tell on the cinematic camera.
Yeah, there is that.
All right, but yes, it is. The information that I've been given is that PGL is actually the FC of this flycatcher fleet that we are staring at right now.
I mean, at least he has enough, interdictors in fleet this time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
More than two dictors.
Definitely proved. Fun fact.
A lot more than two dictors.
The first time that Sigma was known to the Imperium in a big way is when we showcased the flycatcher fleet, which is now so common knowledge here. The Imperium saw this incredible concept. Rather than having jackdaws, which was the meta at the time, we came up with the idea of flycatchers instead, which are much cheaper, long-range missiles, plus the ability to bubble. And this was before we joined the Imperium, and the bosses liked the concept so much that here we are. Here you have the might of the flycatcher fleet. The only downside is everybody is so eager to pop the bubbles that you start to see instances like we did, where all the bubbles pop at zero, and some discipline is needed there to stagger those bubbles out. But the concept is there, and the concept is real.
Absolutely. So it looks like that the flycatcher fleet has dipped out. It looks like that some of the fraternity fleets will switch over here to the iHub in a minute, McLeod. But
we have a Munin fleet like on a ping off the
Alright.
of that Sinojammer. It's possible that that Imperium are basically playing sort of tag team on this Sinojammer, keeping it in a repaired state in a repairing status.
Yes, it does seem that way, and we'll get a bit of an update from the iHub here, because things are getting a little interesting over on the iHub. It looks like we might have two fights going down at the same time, but it looks like that the Fraternity Harpy fleet is trying to deal with some of these outer bubbles that are keeping them from joining this iHub fight over here. So they have a Harpy fleet out, they're trying to kill Dictors, they're warping between bubble to bubble, and we have the Imperium anchoring Cynojammers on the iHub, like
Yep.
whaling fleet Cynojammers on the iHub to prevent the hostile dreads from coming into here. Now, unlike a lot of capitals, right? Most of the capital fights that you see on streams that you see talked about, they're Titans and Supers, right? So when you're looking at just a dread fight and not supers, right? Unlike supers, carriers, titans, whatever, dreads can only hit out to like what 200 at like some of the best fittings possible.
The long range, yeah, the long range.
Yeah, the long range can maybe hit out to 200. These Cynojammers prevent over 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
So
That's it. So what they are trying to achieve, we've got, as we've said before, several battleship formations there. We've got Lashaks, we've got APOC navies, we've got TFIs there. What they'll be looking to do, which we've already seen, is take their dreads, jump them to another system, and prepare to jump what we like to call blap dreads. Now, these are different to anti-cap dreads. These are specifically fitted to be able to hit and apply to battleships. So if they managed to drop those black dreads at zero, then it would be a massacre. And the only way to avoid that would be the Imperium to do a counter drop, which has been pinged. So we, at any moment, could see a full-on dread engagement from both sides here.
That would be interesting. Would be fun if a goon jammer goes up, stopping them from jumping back. So the thing is that jammers only prevent jump ins. They do not prevent jump outs. So even with the Sino jammers online, even with the inhibs up and running, you can still jump out. You just can't jump back in.
There
So
are
what we
very
are-
specific things that do prevent things from jump, like especially big ships uh, like capitals from jumping out. They're called bubbles.
Yep. So it is very, I would say if Imperium decided to put caps in this system during this opportunity, I would not call it a loss or trapped or anything.
You can also use a heavy interdictor as well.
Yes.
Just for
So
clarity.
what we're anchoring in system is Sino jammers, so they cannot drop within 100 kilometers.
We're
Dreads
dropping
can still drop on
inhibs.
that grid, but they will be further away from it. So whereas the bad guys, they're trying to drop Sino jammers to stop the whole system from getting in. We're simply trying to control the grid so that the assets that we've got on the ground aren't completely wiped away by these
Yes.
specialized
We
black
are
dread.
So we're seeing a bit of a long range fight here. These harpies are sitting in a very, very long range. They are trying to clear off some of these outer Imperium dictors from bubbling towards the Fortizar, while we have the Leshaks, it seems, shooting anything that comes into range. It is very interesting to see how this is going to go down. Over on the iHub, how is the jammer looking, McLeod? Are they just full on?
So the two jammers that are on grid at the moment, the one that's closest to sort of potentially sort of finishing is repairing, has 5 minutes to repair, and at the moment the frat paladins are literally sitting on top of it. We have the I think it's the, what is it? That's the zealots and the Deimos fleet as well that are sitting on top of it. Yeah, they are very, very intent on making sure that this Cyno-Jammer repairs and deploys. It seems like it's finished its deploying kind of timer. It just needs to finish its repairing timer before it goes online.
Right.
The other jammer is at the moment 10 minutes until deployed. So
it's going to be interesting because all it takes is shooting it into a repair timer in order to prevent the onlining process. We saw this with M2. M2 XFE, the thing that kicked off that fight was the fact that as they were deploying the Cyno-Jammer, a single newbie shot at it and opened up the 15-minute window for goons to jump their Titans in. So it's going to be interesting to see if they try to keep these jammers forced into a repair state so that they can't do anything.
I do believe that because it's in a repair state at the moment, it will require sort of at least a few more guns to be able to sort of like push it into a paused repair state.
Yeah, which we do have issues again with tie-dye, so I don't know how that's going to affect.
Yeah.
If we're going to see a window, if it's going to be the same as a keep style, which count down besides the tie-dye.
It does
Can you
seem
see
to
the
be the
countdown
case.
timer?
Countdown timer is 3 minutes 22 seconds.
It's
We
counting
have
down on the second.
Yeah, it is counting down on the second, so it is unaffected by tie-dye.
Yes, it does look like we are sitting at 13 minutes on the initial iHub ref. I honestly think Fraternity might not have anything else to do other than hope that the jammers work for the future.
Well, one of the things that they may be looking to do here is once that the seconds before that jammer repairs, is potentially drop their Black Dread fleet on those battleships. Once the jammer's in place, bang, that's it. The Imperium could no longer support, and it would be quite the massacre. So, it's the case of who's going to blink first. Is the Imperium going to drop the dreads so that they don't get locked out? Are we going to be able to pause that timer? The next few minutes are going to tell us everything.
I think it's going to be very interesting. It is forcing a very tiny window for this. It is the time for camps to get in on this fight is incredibly tiny, and it is just a very big coin flip. It's going to be a huge coin flip on whether we do it at all.
Advantage. Yeah, if Fart don't take advantage of this, then that's it. It's finished. We will.
If both sides don't take advantage of that small window, then it's over for both, right? But the thing is that either way, the Imperium can declare victory over the iHub reinforcement. Either way, that's the case. But the big question is that enough, or are we going to push further? And if we are going to push further, that window for us to do so is so tiny.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. We are here to reinforce the iHub. If they don't drop dreads, we don't need to drop dreads. It really is their move. We have gone into their system, we've sieged the iHub, and we're just literally sat there right now saying your move. Now, we have to bear in mind on this jammer, if their fleet goes in, we're going to have to quickly jump in on top of it. Whereas if that timer hits 0 and the whole system is jammed, then the possibility of a cap escalation, unfortunately, will be.
So
we're inside 1 minute on the Sino jammer repairing and onlining. We have seen defensive bubbles. This is what you're seeing at the moment, is defensive bubbles going up around the Sino jammer.
Right.
That is specifically to prevent a hostile fleet from coming in close and provide and
shooting at it
and applying maximum damage, like weapons onto the Sino jammer.
Now, I switched this over to the iHub because this Harpy fleet is getting dangerously close to clearing the bubbles off of the iHub grid. It is going to be a very close call on whether or not the Paladin fleet and Tempest fleet issues can come in to fight the Imperium battleships. It is a very, very close time. We have 11 minutes left on the iHub. We can already see some of the Fax Intosisers decycling and jumping out. I wonder if this is going to be a matter of subcapital intosising to finish this thing off.
Interesting. The Sino jammer has finished its repair cycle, but it is on low power.
Yes, so they actually have to fuel it still.
The system is still not jammed.
Well, in which case then the Imperium has a small window of time to prevent that from, well, essentially what Fart has to now do is to get the relevant things in to that jammer to bring it online.
And they've bubbled the living hell out of the area. Yeah. So that's just going to make it more awkward.
But they're not stupid enough to forget to fuel and have everything in place to online it.
Oh, yep. No, it is coming online now. Sino jammer is active in 5 minutes.
It is coming online.
Jam is pending.
Okay. So during those 5 minutes, we are seeing this Harpy fleet trying to clear off these bubbles, because if this Harpy fleet clears off these bubbles, we can see the Imperium battleship fleets would be engaged. The Paladins would warp down on top of them. So we're trying to see the Imperium flycatchers just try to get the last couple bubbles off, just trying to finish off this timer here, while the Harpies are trying to clear off those flycatchers as well. It is.
I can say all the while in DO6 there is a constant bridge bringing in new reinforcements, new fleets, new squadrons. The Imperium is committing hard for this, and if you could see what I could see, which is potentially OPSEC, even though I'm sure the enemy fleet has got eyes, is a beautiful vision right now.
It is certainly amazing. While so far we are 40 minutes in, and so far we haven't seen two fleets really engage, but it's still interesting because this is a complete big brain move. This entire fight has been counters and counter moves. It's incredible, and it's one of those things about Eve. We are seeing one of the Imperium battleship fleets now leaving. It looks like the Brave Tempest fleet issues are dipping out while the Imperium is trying to finish off this iHub. It's got 11 minutes left. It is in tie-dye, though.
I also just point out of the steady flow of love for John Calico from Sigma Grindset, the latest coming from Nico. Yeah, it's nice to have the appreciation.
We are seeing the Imperium battleship fleet start to dip out as well, with the final Intosicers seemingly cycling down. I wonder if we are considering this as a loss on the plan.
It's definitely there's definitely lots of different orders, lots of things coming out right now. It's difficult to see exactly what is in the mindset, what's the plan.
It seems that the at least on the Keepstar grid that the Demos, the Fraternity Zealot and Demos fleet is now warping off towards the iHub grid.
Yeah, so it does seem like the Intosicers are cycling down. The Harpy fleet is starting, BJK's Harpy fleet is starting to move in on the iHub. There is still a init fax on the iHub. I wonder if they are going to try and kill this fax. I wonder if this fax is going to be able to finish the Intosis with the other battleships and cruisers before getting murdered.
Oh, the Paladin fleet is now transversing towards the iHub grid as well.
Yes, it seems that all of the hostile fleets are moving into this iHub and moving away from the Janitors as the Imperium is retreating. Seems like they are retreating to the friendly Fortizar on grid, or in the system that is plopped down by Volta. So it does seem like the Harpy fleet is right here at 0 on the iHub. They seem to be starting to try and clear off these Intosicers. This fax over here is still Intosist on the grid. He still has an opportunity to jump out. The warp points on a fax are very difficult, so this Harpy fleet keeping this fax down alone is going to be quite difficult without bubbles. We are seeing all of the Fraternity fleets move in onto the iHub now as the Imperium is leaving.
Certainly seems that they're assessing the numbers there. We've had a great showing on the capital numbers for sure, but as any seasoned flight commander will tell you, all battles are lost and won on the subcaps. You can have the biggest super fleet, you can have the biggest dreads, but unless you've got that subcap support, it's all for naught.
It is also, I do find it interesting as well that this fight really came down to sort of like, you know, a window of about 6 to 7 minutes.
Absolutely, it's incredible. All right, so it looks like
and that is
this fax is now taking damage. It looks like the iHub is still making progress. We've got about 10 minutes left. We still have some other Intosicers on grid. I wonder if we are going to be able to finish this iHub.
No, at this point, it's clear. I'm on the comms, and unfortunately, Fart has us outnumbered on the subcaps. They have an additional 3 fleets, which outnumber what we've able to put on grid today. Sure, as I've said, we've got the dread numbers. We can do some incredible things there on the capital front, but unfortunately, they've formed an additional 3 subcap groups. And as I say, you can have all the caps in the world, and you can drop them, but then how are you going to get them out? So you can drop it and achieve the objective, but trying to get them out, that's the issue.
Absolutely.
So it looks like this objective is gonna wind down. This is not gonna be a successful strat op for them. This is going to be a strategic win for the FARC coalition. Again, with these time zones as they are, it's incredibly difficult to be able to outform these guys. We went in originally into this war, this deployment, with the view of getting good fights. We don't just want to headshot structures. We don't just want to siege everything, putting fortizars on keep stars, using supers, putting the fighters, and letting the fighters do all the work. Yeah, it's impressive to see, but it's no fun. But unfortunately, every time we've tried to move forward with these, looking for the fights, this is what happens. We've been outnumbered by an additional 3 subcap fleets, and say we get the reinforcement on the iHub, then what? It's not a final timer. It's only a reinforcement. Nobody fights over the reinforcement. It's when it's the final timer. What is there for the Imperium to gain if they fully commit? If this is the hill they decide to die on, but what do they get? They lose billions, and they get a reinforcement timer. So you have to look at these things strategically. Yes, I know it's disappointing, and I'm sure guys in the chat don't want to be retreating. They don't want to be pulling away. But you have to consider what are we going to be gaining?
Yeah. Well, it looks like that the iHub, all of the hostile fleets are now here, so we can see the full force of what they brought. A Paladin fleet, a Zealot fleet, a Tempest fleet, another secondary Paladin fleet, a third Paladin fleet, and a fourth set of Paladins. How many fucking Paladins are on this grid? Hold on. I need to find out how just the sheer number of Paladins that are on this grid. Let's find out, shall we?
I was about to say,
This now is the FARC coalition's opportunity to say, you know, you poked the bear.
There's 400 Paladins. There is 400 Paladins on this grid, guys. What the fuck? I just got
there's a T2 battleship builder like somewhere, like just
loving life.
Just loving life.
Just
like,
loving life. Oh my god.
Yeah, for sure.
That is like a lot. There goes the A- link for anybody in chat that wants to buy more doctrines, guys. That's the real question.
Well,
Jesus fuck.
It's just paladins all the way down.
FARC has said here that if you want to remove us from this system, you are going to have to siege. You're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. We already have a Fortizar deploying on the Keepstar grid. That's due to come out in a few days. And once that does come out, that's when you're going to see these traditional supers all tethered.
Look at this.
And
There's
the siege.
Guys, there is the entire FC lineup for FRT here. There's like 20 something monitors. Oh my god.
I mean, and honestly, yes, I know it's disappointing.
No, it's not. Guys. It's not disappointing, and it's not disappointing because you know what, John? At least we undocked. At least you actually try to fight under a jammer, right?
That's what we're trying to do.
And that's what we're here to do. We are not like Pappy. Okay, we didn't slowly go system to system, jammer to jammer. We didn't do any of that boring shit.
Yeah, this is the difference. We've tried to do these things in a fun, fair manner, where it's a subcap fight with in their systems. I mean, they're very cocky now, but where are they when we're reinforcing them every day? Every single timer that we don't follow up on, the same day we're back again with the Shack fleet reinforcing everything. Where are they then?
Oh my god,
They're not showing up
guys,
there.
we are seeing even more paladins. There's so much paladins. I mean, look, there's a lot of FRT people and Horde people in chat, and good for you guys. All right, like, look, cool. We lost the battle. That doesn't mean we lost the war. Okay, and in all honesty, without any fucking spin, here's just the plain and simple facts. You guys are on the offensive. Y'all are supposed to be invading Brave. You have not touched a Brave structure in a month. So when did this, the simple fact that we have turned you guys in from offenders to defenders is an overall war win. That's a W.
I do find it interesting that it seems that the Sino Jammer sort of cycle time is affected by time dilation.
Yeah, exactly. It's hardly fair that you've got, the entosising is affected by time dilation. Right now, at least, it seems that everything is in the defender's favor. Anytime we come up against time dilation, it works on their side of things. Excuse me.
Exactly. As Sandrin put in the chat, it's time for things to change. If you joined Goons because you wanted to have a totally safe Titan just sitting in the station, now is not the time. We're here to fuck. That is it. We are here to fuck.
I would say it's a little bit interesting that, like, from on an offensive side, I wouldn't want to be putting out clearly things need to change. The game needs to change for us to win. Like, no. I don't think the game needs to change for us to win. The game would need to change for us to win faster, but I kind of feel like,
So, hold on. I'll point out...
traditional sieging technique is still going to be, still hasn't been appropriately applied to the system yet. And that may change things significantly.
It is interesting. All right. Well, it looks like that they are going to sit here. They are going to prepare for this iHub to reinforce. So I am going to warp Mr. Cameraman to safety.
Yeah. I mean, anything that was going to happen is pretty much over now at this point. The Imperium made a play. We saw that the system, which has been perma-jammed, was not jammed. And so we took the opportunity to Sino straight onto that grid and start toasting. So again, there's no counter-offensive here. There's no counter-play. There's nothing from Fart's side pushing into Brave. This is all reactive content. And as I said before, originally we wanted to try and go in here with subs, get some fights, get some timers. We've killed 3 keep stars already in multiple forts and countless Astra houses and Athenors. But they've made it clear right now today, if you want us out this system, you are going to have to siege. You are going to have to entosis each system by system by system to get to us if you want us gone. And of course, the Imperium's got the capability to do that, and that's what it's going to come down to. And we will do that. We're not going home. The war objectives was to clear Bart outside of B2 space. They are currently in B2 space, so our war objectives are not over, and they won't be over until this system in X47 is liberated.
Absolutely.
Well, what we will see now that, Fraternity and the Fart Coalition seem to be very adamant of traditional sieging techniques, or this system requiring traditional sieging techniques, is that we're going to see a lot more heavy assets deployed to take this system, which means, carrier groups, super groups of both sides being deployed. So, although we may not have seen like a ton of action today, like it sets the scene for the future that there's going to be a ton of action, and it's going to be significant stuff.
Listening there to Hycorian saying goons won't deploy their supers against other supers.
Would any
We
alliance?
I guess we'll
always
find
have.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess M2 doesn't ring a bell for that guy.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Like-
in fairness, guys, in fairness, we get a lot of complaints saying that we are heavily biased. Yes, we are the Imperium.
It is the Imperium news.
So, like
network.
Fox News, we are going to be swayed towards a certain agenda. But,
It says on the door, it's an official studio.
but you know, I've not been on this team long, but you know, I know that we're not just heavily, you know, peddling the dogma. We're not, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid. When Fart makes a good play, they get credit. And when
they did do a good play. Like,
They
you know,
did.
they achieved both objectives that, you know, the Imperium were fighting for. Like, we were fighting on grid
Yeah.
for the jammers. They won that. We were fighting on the iHub grid, and they won that.
Yeah, they certainly did. They
Can't say that they
showed-
didn't, because they definitely
They
did.
showed that if you want to do this, you're going to have to bring more.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, I think that is pretty much it for us today. It was a solid fight. The song in the background is actually from a Twitch playlist. I can get that for you if you are interested in it. This particular song is called LJ by Ray De La Frune.
Well, I mean, there wasn't much of a fight, let's be clear.
It was a
And
strategic play. It was strategic plays, moves, and counter
Imperium's
moves.
favour and say that, you know, there was a great fight and we won, and you know, there wasn't really a fight. It was more battle formations, posturing, staging, and in the end, just like before, you know, we sieged a keep star in Fade, and they outnumbered us. They were better prepared. They were ready to commit to the crab star, and so, you know, this is just showing us time and time again, you know, how our enemies going to react. What do we need to do this?
I think what the Imperium have learnt this, you know, specifically today is that, in fact, it is also Sunday in China.
Yep. Definitely. But you'll have to excuse my lack of visibility on the camera and my voice, because I, as of yesterday, tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh,
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's unfortunate, man.
it is what it is, I guess. But as you say, we're wrapping it up now. Thanks everyone for coming along. You guys are the real heroes for keeping us going. And rest assured that should any large battles be kicking off, anything that's worth looking at, that, you know, we're players as well, or at least I am.
McLeod never
so
logs
did-
in anymore.
When something cool happens, we're here to say, hey guys, something cool's happening, come and look.
Absolutely.
or at least especially like today, like something cool could definitely have kicked off today. And you know, we were here and hoping that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, it didn't. But you know, that's how it goes. Sometimes that's how it goes.
Definitely. Well, thanks, gents, for joining us. It's been great. Thanks all the viewers as well. And we will be live either at one of the respective scheduled shows or with breaking news.
Absolutely, guys. I hope y'all had a fun time and have a good one.
Yep. Stay Sigma, guys.